Let's look at the built-in Stroop demo experiment in lab.js to see some of the important parts of how lab.js experiments work. So if you go to lab.js.org, choose Builder. Looks like this. I'll go to Get Started and browse some examples. I'm going to choose the Stroop task. We can take a look at how the experiment looks by running it here. So I need to answer what color each of these is written in. Green, that's easy. Blue. Red, I'll push R. Orange, I'll push O. Okay, here I have one that says blue, but it's written in red, so I push R for red. This one says orange, but it's written in green, so I push G for green. That's the Stroop task. So how does it work? There are two key elements here that I want to look at. The first one is this one called Stroop task. You can see this is a loop element. And there are 3 columns and a bunch of rows. Each row corresponds to one trial. So in one of my trials, it's going to show me the word green, but it's going to be written in red. And in my data, I'll get a little label that says task, so that I know that now the participant was in the actual task phase of the experiment. Good. So each row corresponds to one trial. And down here, we can see that this has been set to show them in random order. We could also choose to do it in sequence if we wanted to, but leave it in random. So each one of these headers of these columns is a variable that lab.js can access later on. So the other element I want to look at here is this Stroop screen. And here, this is where it actually shows me the word. But instead of just writing the word here, there is code that says go to the parameters, which it means the variables, and then find the parameter called word, the variable called word. So lab.js goes and looks at this table here. It finds the parameter called word. It chooses a row at random, and the word in the column word here is red, and so it will show me that word. Now, what color will it show it in? Well, it will show it in whatever color was in the corresponding color column for that row. And it knows to do that. If we click on this here and go down to this little button here, so this is the color of the word, and you can see we could actually set it to be any one of these colors, but instead there is more text down here, and it says this.parameters.color. Just like up here it says this.parameters.word. So that tells lab.js, okay, for this trial, show this parameter, word, this variable word, and for the color, use whatever is in the color column, which in this case would be red. Also, on this screen, there are some different tabs. And if we click on behavior, we can see that, first of all, timeout is set to never. So that means it will just continue to show me the word orange, for example, for as long as it takes until the participant answers. If we look at the fixation cross and go to behavior, this has been set to 500. So it's going to show that cross for 500 milliseconds and then automatically go on to the next screen, which is this one. Here it sits until the participant responds. When they respond, there are 4 buttons they could push, and these have been defined over here. So I could push R, G, B, or O. And importantly, these have been associated, because they're in the same row, with a label. So when I push O, that assigns this label to orange. When I push G, it assigns this label, green. And this is important because lab.js then compares whatever this label is to whatever is in the color column for that row in the data table, that is to say, here in this stroop task. So if it shows me the word red and it's written in green, and I push the G key, that assigns this label green, and then lab.js looks to see if green is the same thing that is written in the color column right here. And if it is, then it gives me the answer is correct. And if it is not, then it gives me a false answer. Or that is to say, it tells me that I have answered incorrectly. So those are the key elements that the script uses to show these words in these colors. Then there's just one other little trick that I want to show here. So if I run the task, and this is very good for debugging, and I'm answering away, what you can, if you want to pick a peek at the current state of all of these variables, you can push this tiny little button that's hidden down here, and it will show you at this moment in the experiment, the color variable is set to green, and sure enough, it's showing us this word in a green color. The word should also be green, right? So it's showing us the word green, and it's showing it to us in green. If we go on a little bit so that we get to the ones that are mixed up, like this one maybe? Yes. So here we have the word red. So the word column, the word variable is currently set to red. The color variable is currently set to blue. So we can see, sure enough, it's showing us the word red. It's showing it in blue. Now here it says correct and correct response. These are the current state of these variables, but they haven't been updated yet since the previous trial. So if I now answer this one correctly, so I should type B for blue, and then we can see that the correct and the correct response are updated. The correct response was blue because the color was blue. We can see here that I pushed B, which corresponds to that label blue. So it gives me a label for correct as true. I answered correctly. Now, as it happens, this current one is also blue, but it might not be. Down here in this trial row, we can see the amount of time it took me to respond to the previous one. So now I'll just go on and I will just answer red for all of them for a little bit, and that should give me some incorrect responses. Yeah, so it's currently showing the word green in green, but in the previous trial I should have answered blue. I didn't. I answered red, and so it's showing this as false. So this is a way that you can, if things are going wrong in your experiment, you can sometimes figure out what's happening by looking at what state all of the variables are in at the current moment. Yes, and that's about it. Those are some of the key features that we can use to build lab.js experiments.